Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. Bit of a late one, but I just couldn't resist with this. Now, you've seen the thumbnail. That, of course, is the new Jaguar, the 00, because it's one big fat nothing. It looks like something a doctor would shove up your backside to give you a probing. It's a horrible looking thing. GHD, do your hair with it. You know, I'm sure it'd be lovely, but yuck. I just don't like it. It's almost like the Pink Panthers car, and nobody wants to be seen driving around in that. But of course, Jaguar aren't aiming to sell it to me. All their other cars, yeah, it's middle-aged men, isn't it? Want a big man's car, a big V12, a V8, you know, something oomphy, something with power and grills and teeth. You know, something that sounds good, looks big, is threatening on the road. A very masculine car. Not anymore. It's got to be pink and smooth and a suppository shape. It's for ladies and men who don't know what they are. The trouble is, if they're not selling to middle-aged men, who's their market? Well, we've seen the adverts. It seems to be millennials, young people with blue hair and strange sexualities. They're not going to be buying this car. Now, Jaguar are about to spend £1.5 billion in development. Although, you have to ask what there is to develop. They'll be buying the batteries in, so it won't be battery technology. It's only a motor, an electric motor. They can't spend £1.5 billion developing an electric motor. The principles are sound. What else? Who knows? Sounds like backhanders going on to me. But they're never, ever going to get their money back on this car. How are they going to make enough profit to repay the £1.5 billion on this car? Because the sales price is beyond the bracket of 99% of people. Do you know how much they want for that car? £150,000. Those little blue-haired millennials don't have that kind of money lying around, do they? Not unless they've inherited it. Nobody that they're aiming to sell these cars to is going to afford these cars. And they've alienated everyone who actually could afford to buy those cars. You know, your middle-aged businessman, the newly retired man who's thinking, I just like a nice car. I'm going to take the time. I'm going to travel up and down Britain for a couple of years. Going here, doing that, till I get bored and whatever. That sort of thing. That isn't going to sell. Nobody who previously bought Jaguars is going to buy that. Nobody. Right? That's gone. And that's not who they're aiming at. The people they're aiming at can't afford it. So this is the end. This is the final end. Bye, Jaguar. You've been great. You've been great over the years. You've had some lovely cars. You know, the Mark II, the Mark VI. I mean, no serious gangster in London in the 60s and 70s would have done a bank job without a Mark VI, you know? You've had some great ones. I had an XJS. I loved my XJS. Couldn't afford to run it. Horrendous on fuel. You know, you had them. You had the S-Type, which a lot of people disliked. I quite liked the S-Type. You had the X-Type, which was, it was a bit Ford Mondeo-y. But, you know, you've had them. You've had some nice ones. You did the new XJs. You know, you've had some nice cars over the years. That's before we even get into things like the E-Type. But that's all history now. It's all gone. And it will never come back. Not while you've got Mr. Wokey Pokey at the top of your company, destroying your company from within. I hope the shareholders are prepared to take a bath on this, because you've just killed the brand. I know people who will get rid of their Jags. I know people who will never buy a Jag again, even a second-hand one. They don't want to be associated with the brand anymore. This is it. Even if you've got a good Jag, people just don't want to be seen. Oh, God, I can't be seen driving my Jag. And these big pink suppositories that you're trying to flog. Good luck. How many of these are you going to have to sell? 1.5 billion development cost. You're selling it for 150,000. Well, even then, let's say that's a generous £50,000 profit. It won't be, but let's say it's a generous £50,000 profit. You're going to have to sell 300,000 of these. No, 30,000 of these. 30,000. You're never going to sell 30,000. Not a chance in hell. You won't sell 3. Ferrari, they make 2 dozen cars a year, maybe 3 dozen cars a year, all handmade. Of a model, any model. They make about 3 dozen a year. That's it. They might have several models on the go at the same time, but they're not a high turnover car company, are they? Let's face it. Not when you're paying up to £1 million each for the cars. That's why there's such a waiting list. But the people who buy Ferraris new, well, they're not short of a penny or two. But here's the thing. The people who would buy a Ferrari ain't going to buy that pile of shit. They'll buy an Aston Martin. They'll buy a Lamborghini. They'll buy a Rolls Royce or a Bentley. They're not going to buy a tacky, pink, horrible, bottom of the birdcage piece of tat that's going to probably be massively overweight. Who knows what the handling will be like? It's going to have reliability problems. Remembering now, it's actually Indian owned. This isn't going to be made in Britain, I suspect. I bet this is made in Bangalore or somewhere, because you can't afford to pay the workers in this country now. Oh, they're bringing this in just as everybody's really rallying against electric vehicles. I'm just saddened. So I'm just gonna have a moment's silence for the death of the Jaguar. I mean, it really is a sad, sad day. But it does go to show the wages of woke are broke. And the moment you let the wankerati get control of any business, that business dies on its arse. And you're going to see that. And I'm going to make a suggestion. Where by the end of 2024, by the end of 2026, Jaguar will have gone into administration. They'll separate the Jaguar from the Land Rover. The Land Rover will carry on. Land Rovers, Range Rovers, big, proper cars, proper vehicles. Jaguar will have gone. It will have died. And that strange, woke, prick boss will probably go off and get another job somewhere. Somebody go, oh yes, it's so sad it failed. Come and destroy another company. And he will. Thanks very much. Bye.